With Haney doing 8 competitions, and I think it was Arnold that did 7, were those numbers always in your head when you're starting to get 4 and 5 consecutives?
Not at all. For some reason, everyone was like, "You're going to try and beat Haney's record." You know, I got 2, I got 3, I got 4, I got 5. Surely, never ever was anything that I was interested in. I was just, listen, I'm going to do this 1 year at a time. As long as I'm enjoying it and I feel like there's something I can do, that's what I'm going to do. But I never had that number in my mind. And I remember in '96, which would have been in my 6th, it was starting to get tedious. It was starting to get that this is like a job now that I keep, I did this last year and it's like a job now, and the joy is going out of it, And in '97, I had another injury, the tricep tendon tear that I had 3 weeks before the contest. Again,
how do you compete?
I'm going to be out of the contest, like 3 weeks out from the contest. I was doing an exercise. What happened, it was giving me a lot of pain all year round. And what I really needed to do was take a break and get treatment and get this inflammation down and get it recovered. But because of my personality and the drive, and because I'm at the top and you've got everyone chasing you, you don't really feel like you've got, 2 months to do that. So I was training around it, and it was a lot of pain. Every time I trained, I had to ice it after training. I took anti-inflammatory drugs, all this stuff to manage it. And then I had what I considered to be bad advice. I had a cortisone injection in there to take the inflammation and the pain down, which of course works, but it actually is destructive. It's catabolic to the tissues. So you've got a tendon that's already probably damaged and slightly torn. That's why you've got inflammation and pain there. It's a signal. Yeah. So you've taken the inflammation and pain down, which is taking the warning signal away, and now further weakening the tissue that's probably already weak. So I see that as the reason that my tricep tendon actually tore 3 weeks out from the contest. And, 3 weeks this time, not 6 weeks, 3 weeks. So 3 weeks before the contest, I was not able to train at all. No weights. 3 weeks before this contest. I only do cardio exercise, and I continued with my diet. I figured, well, look, I've been doing this for like 15 years. If I don't train for 3 weeks, it's definitely not ideal. But how much of this am I going to lose in 3 weeks from not training, And I didn't actually know that I would compete in that contest until about 3 days before. Because I didn't know if it was possible. I had a lot of therapy on my arm to get the swelling and the bruising out. And even the night before the contest, my physio came and it took about 15 or 20 mil out of the elbow of blood and fluid that was like swelling up around the elbow. So that was, for me, the worst Mr. Olympia. And it was like I wasn't there in my usual way. Because usually that whole year round, I've been training. And like I said, I felt super powerful going to the contest, powerful and confident that even people said that they could feel heat generating off me. They knew, they felt like, something. But '97, I didn't feel like that. I felt weak. I felt vulnerable. I was on painkillers to be on stage, or, I was just hoping to get through this contest with because my tricep tendon apparently was 95% detached. So it was like kind of holding on by a little thread. And a clash of elbows that sometimes can happen when you're doing the pose down, or too much, I don't know. So I was like, going there very gingerly, hitting the poses, and not my usual positive, aggressive self. And the guy that came second, Nasser Al-Sambati, was in his best shape ever. And a lot of people in the audience probably felt that he should have won. So it wasn't the happiest, the easiest Mr. Olympia at all. And after that, I had surgery on the tendon to repair it, and I got back to training. But it was very obvious that this injury was now like, it was causing some real imbalance, especially on lifting, and it would cause more injuries. And I would go, I wouldn't be able to get back to where I was before, and I would lose the contest not because somebody was better or that they trained hard, just because I was not able to. So that was the time for me to say, this is it. And I actually now seeing it as a blessing in disguise, that maybe that had to happen. And it was such an extreme, or at least my approach to it was such extreme. I didn't hang around the sport and do guest appearances and stuff for a few years and make more bank and you know, secure. I just dropped out. I
You
just like,
did
that's
a
it, I
real
finished.
shadow. You just
I just finished. And I was almost thinking like, right, the Mr. Olympia thing's over now. What am I going to do with my life? That's over. But of course, it's not over. It's a huge part of me and it always will be. That's what I come to realize. But I almost had to like, I'm not that guy anymore. Who am I? You know, and go away and live my life and not in that circle all the time, almost for a little bit, you know?
So what happened those 2 years afterwards? Did you keep lifting?
I always trained. Even like when I retired from the sport, and then, you know, a lot of realizations, a lot of thinking. I got divorced. Somebody very close to me died. All these things happened in one time, and that kind of led me to be very depressed as well. But I always see it now as like a, you know, it had to happen, a transformation for me to become what I would say a multi-dimensional person rather than just one dimension, which was, of course, very good at because that's all I focused on.
But you were very one-dimensional then.
Yeah, absolutely.
To watch the rest of this fascinating interview, click on the link below and go to londonrealacademy.com. There you can sign in with your social media, log in and watch the rest of the episode for free, along with all of our episodes on London Real, my webinars, and all of our premium content, all located over at londonrealacademy.com. So click on the link below, you'll be directed there and you can watch the rest of this fascinating interview, and I'll see you there.